What's up guys, one of the most important features of any smartphone today has got to be the browser experience. Everyone wants a fast and responsive browser. They don't want to see any lags, they don't want it to crash or anything like that. So let's go ahead and test this out on the Galaxy S4. Now in terms of which browsers it comes with, it actually comes with Samsung's default browser. They haven't got rid of that here. I'm a massive fan of this browser. It's always been one of the fastest and smoothest browsers of any device. And because it has Jelly Bean, it also comes with Chrome. Now, Chrome has some brilliant features, but for me, its performance just isn't quite there with these other browsers. So I'm not going to be testing that one out. We'll load up the Samsung browser right here, and we'll dive into the settings just so I can clear out the cache and all that stuff. So it's a fair test. Select all this stuff, hit done, and we're good to go. And I'll start this test off by just kind of loading up some websites, testing out the general performance, and then after that, I'll go to benchmarks and we'll see some raw numbers. Okay, and we've got Android Central in the address bar here, so it's going to be the first website we test out. We'll hit go, and here we go. Let's see how this Samsung browser does. You can see it's loaded the mobile site. We'll hit full version before we bother testing anything out here. It does feel very quick, the browser. I will be doing benchmarks, like I said, at the end, so we'll see what the raw numbers are. But you can see this blue bar here. It's about to fill up. We'll wait till it's completely full, and there we go. It's done. It's loaded. Let's test out its performance. So we'll scroll up and down, and you can see right there it is very smooth. Tracking with my finger, as you can see, is nearly 1-to-1, and it's one of the best I've seen on any Android device. This Samsung browser is probably the closest I've seen to the iPhone 5. It does still have its hiccups. You saw there was a slight frame drop there when I was scrolling up and down. And if I do it quickly, you can see there is some loading here, which is a little bit disappointing to see. You know, I would have expected it to be, you know, all there, right there, especially as it has 2 GB of RAM and an epically fast processor. But nonetheless, once it's all loaded, it is very quick. You can see I'm pretty much raping this browser now, and it's keeping up with it. Let's test out pinch to zoom. And that is very smooth. That is definitely one of the smoothest I've ever used. And that includes on any device, including the iPhone. That is right up there. You can see it doesn't look like it's dropping any frames with the pinch to zoom there. Epically smooth, looks like a solid 60 FPS. We'll test out another website. Next up, we've got gsmarena. So this has a lot of images and stuff. We'll hit go again. Probably we're heading over to the mobile website. So we'll scroll down, hit desktop. That's what we want to see on these big displays. And here we go. This time I'm going to try and use it while it's still loading. So it's still loading right now. And you can see it is definitely usable. Pinch to zoom again, very responsive. And it has already finished quite quickly. So here we go. Let's test it out. You can see you can pretty much see the whole website right here on this display, and you can zoom in. Again, pinch to zoom is epic. It's just so damn smooth. I love the pinch to zoom on the Galaxy devices. I definitely think it's right up there with the iPhone 5s. There we go. We'll load up an article here. Why don't we load up the Galaxy S4 review, see how that goes. Again, very quick. You can see these nice crappy adverts in the corner of the screen. Lovely. Let's scroll down. You can see slight hiccup there. See, this is what I'm saying. The browser isn't perfect, and you can see it had to load up there. It does still have its hiccups, but once it kind of gets through those, and it does get through them quite quickly, it is very smooth. I just feel like it could be a tad better in terms of those little hiccups. You know, it would pretty much be perfect if it didn't have those hiccups, to be honest. So, yeah. Let's load up another website. So here we go, I've got the Verge in the address bar, and this is pretty much the biggest test. This one is very HTML5 intensive. It slows pretty much all the devices I know right down, so let's see how it handles it. And that's why they give you a mobile website, because it slows the mobile browsers down so much. Nonetheless, let's test out the full site. Here we go. Loading up again. The actual load speeds I think are very quick. They're right up there, if probably not right at the top of the chain in terms of loading. We'll test that out against other devices in different videos. Here we go. And very smooth, very nice performance on the Verge, which is a very heavy site. And you can see here, pinch to zoom has just never been a problem on any of these tests that I've shown you. It's very, very good. Scrolling up, you can see there, it's kind of struggling with the Verge there a little bit. You can see what I'm talking about, how heavy this site is. A lot of pictures, a lot of HTML5 stuff going on in the background. But it is handling it quite well. You can see it is slow to react when I do that, kind of annoying. But again, like I said, the Verge is a very, very heavy website. But there you have it. Pretty good there. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the performance. It does still have those hiccups. We'll test one more site just to be sure. So here we go. I'm about to load up youtube.com because let's see how it handles this. I know it's a mobile site. Obviously, we'll move to the desktop site. We'll just force it into desktop view here. And here we go. Lots of videos, lots of information on this site. We don't have Flash Player right now on this. You know, I don't think this browser even supports Flash Player anymore, so we can't actually use it. But performance here, very, very good. So you can see pinch to zoom again, epic. You know, once you zoom in, you can see it still has to sometimes load. You can see it sometimes forgets what's around it. I wouldn't say check. It is kind of checkerboarding. You can see it's just white gaps. It's not really checkerboarding. It's just kind of white gaps. But you can see when I pinch really far in and really quickly out, you can see it has to load it up. So there is still some hiccups, but generally the performance is very good. Now, what I don't like about this browser is the tabs. And if I show you the tabs right here, you can click into these and just look how slow that animation is. Why did they do that? It's just too damn slow. You know, it needs to be quicker. That's too annoying for me, you know. I don't like that. I know that's a bit of a nitpicking thing, but nonetheless, it annoys me. Let's move on to the benchmarks. So here we go. We're on the SunSpider website, and there is actually a new version of this. It's 1.0 JavaScript benchmark, but all the other devices I've done this test on were actually on the last one, the 0.9.11. So I'm actually going to do this here to be fair. Otherwise, you know, we can't really compare it to any other results. All the other ones done on all the websites will be done on this test, not the new one. So, yeah. So here we go with the results. And if I zoom in, we can see it scores 839.2 milliseconds, which I can tell you is a pretty damn good score. Now, in comparison with the iPhone 5 doing this exact same test as in the 0.9.11, it scored 914, so you can see the JavaScript performance is better on the S4 than the iPhone 5, so pretty good there. And it is a lot better than, say, my Nexus 4, which I think scores in the 1100 range. I'm not completely sure on that, I can't really remember, but there you have it. We might as well, as we're here, guys, check out the newest test, so we'll just keep hitting back until I get here, and we'll run version 1. And we'll check out what it gets. And so this is the newest version of SunSpider, and you can see it scores 914, so a little bit slower. There's obviously a little bit more intensive test going on, but nonetheless, still a very good score, even on the newest version of SunSpider. So there you have it, guys. Very good performance in the JavaScript on the Galaxy S4. Next up, guys, I ran the BrowserMark benchmark, and you can see the Galaxy S4 scores 2,417. Your browser is superior to 93% of all phone browsers, which is pretty damn impressive. If we hit the compare results button here, we'll check out some other scores. Now, if we check out over here, it actually shows the #1 device as being the GT9 500, which I believe is the octa-core version, which scores 2,814. And the version that I have, which is the 1.9 gigahertz quad-core version, is the i9505, which scores 2,400, which is pretty much what I scored. But you can see it's top 4. It's top 5 in the list. You know, it's very impressive. It's basically on par with the iPhone 5. You can see they're pretty much scoring the exact same thing. You know, there's hardly any difference between them. Pretty damn interesting, though, that the octa-core scores 400 points more. But there you go. Still very good performance from this benchmark. Moving on to Peacekeeper, I've scored 579, which I've got to say I'm a little bit disappointed with. I'm not sure if this was just a one-off where it kind of messed up or something, but you can see in the list I'm way below where it really should be. I'm below the Galaxy S3, which scored 637. I really did expect this to be right up there with the iPhone 5. So I'm going to quickly run this again and see if anything changes. Here we go, guys. This is my second run of Peacekeeper, and we've scored 588, which is better than my last score of 579, but it's still not better than the Galaxy S3's 637, and it's nowhere near the iPhone 5's 907. Now, I don't quite know what's going on here, because the Galaxy S4 kind of destroyed the other benchmarks like SunSpider and BrowserMark, so maybe it's just not suited to Peacekeeper, I don't know, but there you have it. That's what I scored twice, so it's not really a fluke. But yeah, to conclude, guys, the browser on the Galaxy S4 is decent. It's going to be very smooth most of the time. I've got to say, in my opinion, I think I expected a little bit more. You know, the Galaxy S3 browser is very good as well. And I don't know, I think I just expected the Galaxy S4 browser to kind of get rid of those little hiccups that we've seen in the other browsers, but it looks like it hasn't. The hiccups are still there. It sometimes slows down randomly, which is kind of annoying. Yes, it does very well in most of the benchmarks I've done it in, and it is very fast in loading pages, but I just wish it got rid of some of those annoying hiccups. But nonetheless, it's still a very good browser for the Galaxy S4. Peace out.